Actions of the defendants are indefensible, and the appropriate sentence was handed down, the maximum sentence. I'm also very grateful to all the law enforcement agencies that participated in this case from beginning to end. Their tireless work is what made this case successful and how we were able to come to this conclusion and such a just result. So to those police agencies, on behalf of the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Justice Department, we thank them for their effort. And once again, we hope that this sentence will at least bring some relief and some justice to the Guillen family. And I'll leave you to the family. Thank you.
Today, Judge Albright delivered justice for Vanessa Guillen and Vanessa's family, Vanessa's friends, and our country. We want to thank Justice Albright. We want to thank Mark, the U.S. Attorney that prosecuted this case, all the law enforcement, the Texas Rangers. We couldn't have done this without everyone's help and everyone's support. And we want to thank, more importantly, the community at large for coming together and helping us get justice for Vanessa. Myra?
Hi everyone. I'm short of words. Today was a very hard day for my family. There was a lot of new details regarding my sister's death and the manner that things happened. It's been very hard to see, to hear. There was audio, and it's just there's relief today, as to know that Cecily will finally be held accountable for her actions, although she wasn't entirely at fault. But we hope that someday the truth will prevail as to what really happened that day. And I just want to thank everyone for their full support, and I'm happy to say that we can, in a sense, close this chapter and keep moving forward with whether it's legislation or whatever it is in Vanessa's legacy that's next, that we keep pushing forward. Thank you.
Hola, buenas tardes. Yo lo único que quiero decir es que se hizo la justicia que tenía que hacerse. El señor juez, creo yo que toqué su corazón con mi testimonio. Fue algo fuerte, pero tenía que hacerlo porque el corazón me habló y el corazón de madre habla. Y fue yo creo que es una sentencia justa. Y Dios perdone a esa señora y se arrepienta, como se lo dije ahorita, que acabo de hablar yo con ella. Dios la perdone y se arrepienta y sea una persona mejor. Nadie merecemos nada, nadie se merece nada. Todos queremos ser mejores, pero a veces la persona tiene maldad. Y como le dije yo ahorita me llevaron con ella para adentro, yo pedí hablar con ella solas. Yo le dije, espero Dios se arrepienta, Dios toque su corazón y se arrepienta. Y el día que llegue a salir de la prisión, sea una persona mejor. Es lo que deseo yo. Porque mi hija no se me regresa con nada. Y yo creo que yo toqué su corazón de ella, porque ella no, su madre no la abandonó. Y ella dice, yo quisiera haber tenido una madre como tú, que me defendiera. Sí, pero yo sufrí mucho, pero yo no sé por qué yo hice esto. Dije, habla con Dios y dile, ¿por qué te llevó a eso? Arrepiéntete. Ya es todo lo que te puedo decir yo. Y se hizo la sentencia justa. Muchas gracias a todos, Dios los bendiga. Pues yo desde hace 3 años quería esto, ¿verdad? Que justicia. Me voy conforme con esto, como madre. Como le digo, a mi hija no se regresa con nada, ¿verdad? El sufrimiento, el trauma que vivimos, la enfermedad, no tiene vuelta. Pero yo como le digo a ella, Dios toque su corazón y usted sabe la verdad, le dije, sabe la verdad. ¿Por qué pasó? Porque yo quiero lo que es la verdad. Esa ya la sentenciaron a ella, bueno, pero yo quiero la verdad. ¿Por qué se llegó a cometer eso? Hay una verdad y tiene que salir a la luz algún día, y en el nombre de Dios que así será. Como madre así lo deseo. Y ojalá yo esté en este mundo para mirarlo, porque hay una verdad y tiene que salir, que se enseñaron con un ser inocente, el mismo juez, es una niña inocente. Digo, no entiendo por qué, digo, porque hay una verdad y tiene que hacerla a la luz, es lo que le dije yo. Algún día Dios toque tu corazón y hables y diga la verdad. ¿Quién fue el que organizó todo esto? ¿Por qué se llegó a esto? ¿Qué miró la niña? ¿Qué supo? Que no debía de hablar. ¿Por qué la callaron así de esa manera? Tan atroz y tan vil. Nadie se merece una muerte así. Nadie, ni el peor de los criminales, es lo que siempre yo. Por eso le digo yo, le dije al señor juez, no estoy a favor de la pena de muerte jamás. Porque tenemos derecho nadie de quitar la vida a nadie. Solamente Dios. Dios no la da, Dios no la quita. Yo le pido a Dios paz en mi corazón, que ya me la dio, y salud en mi cuerpo para ver mis hijos, formar un hogar, una familia.
¿Se hizo justicia por la familia?
Ah, sí se hizo justicia, un poco, pero se hizo, en el nombre de Dios. Gracias.
Myra, what goes through your head? I mean, you said you wanted to see all of the evidence, but what are you prepared for that?
You know, I honestly wasn't prepared for her to want to face us as a family, and it really took me by surprise, her ask for forgiveness. But I just feel like it's a little too late. The 3 years that we lived literally in hell was just so long. And if it was as easy as asking for forgiveness for all the wrongs that we all do, I can imagine how the world would be today. So you did a crime, you have to pay for it. Now she wants to ask for forgiveness, which is completely okay. I'll keep that in mind. But what she did, it's never going to be taken back. Vanessa's never going to come back to us. And I honestly, I was took by surprise when she did decide to face us and ask for forgiveness, but it just doesn't make any sense to me as to why she took so long to speak up. And you can't tell me her demeanor is going to change from one morning to the next. And it's hard to find that apology sincere, but I will take it into account. I'm not going to take that away from her, but she got the maximum sentence, and that's the least that she deserves.
Mayra, ¿puedes reflexionar sobre todo el movimiento que surgió a partir de esta tragedia?
Bueno, igual ha sido algo que la verdad no esperábamos que nos pasaran, mucho menos a mi familia. Hemos llegado al punto donde hemos llegado con la ayuda de Natalie. Ha sido un movimiento que no esperábamos, tanto como legislación, estar aquí el día de hoy, todo lo que ha pasado en los últimos 3 años en honor a Vanessa, y vamos a seguir así, tratando de cambiar el sistema militar por algo mejor, sea por lo que haya sido, sea acoso, sea algún otro crimen. No, la verdad ya no importa, al final del día las cosas están cambiando y están cambiando por el bien.
Mencionabas que te tomó por sorpresa,
¿Cómo fue?
que te tomó por sorpresa la disculpa de la acusada.
Sí, no, sí, la disculpa y el valor que ella tuvo para poder mirarnos a la cara y pedir perdón, al igual no, es difícil saber si fue sincera o no, es pensar que una persona va a levantarse un día y decir, les voy a pedir perdón para ver qué pasa, o si tan solo quería piedad de parte del juez, pues no se le otorgó, no se le concedió, la sentencia máxima fue lo que se le dio, y simplemente el hecho de lo que hizo, tardó tanto para decirlo, tuvo varias oportunidades para decir la verdad y aún así no quiso. Después de 3 años no sería tan fácil perdonar a alguien que hizo sufrir tanto como mi madre, a mi padre, a mis hermanos y incluso a mí, a gente que ni siquiera conoció a Vanessa.
This has already been a long ordeal, and you say there's so much more to be done. How are you physically, mentally? Are you prepared to go back tomorrow and start looking for the next steps?
Definitely. I have no option even tonight. We're traveling back to Austin. We just got to keep going. There's no pause. There's no stop. As long as Vanessa keeps us going, I mean, it's love at the end of the day that gives a drive to keep pushing.
Mayra, ¿qué sigue para la familia Guillen? ¿Ya no termina hoy?
No termina el día de hoy. Simplemente vamos a seguir adelante. Sea lo que sea, bueno, sea legislación, sea algún otro honor en nombre de los militares, leyes, lo que sea que Dios traiga hacia nuestro camino, lo vamos a tratar de cumplir en la mejor manera posible.
En memoria de Vanessa.
En memoria de Vanessa.
You have a question?
Yeah, we know that saw that there are several supporters that were out here, some from the military veterans. There were also women as well. What do you think it says to the women in the military and also sexual harassment that might happen?
You know, it's. I love to see that people are finally realizing that the military community really need this. They really needed this reform. A lot of people came forward at the time when Vanessa's story was starting to become viral. I do feel now that the provisions, the acts that we've worked so hard on are going to start to fruit. They're going to, we have to make sure that they get implemented. We have to make sure that the DOD does their part, Congress does their part, and we do our part as advocates, as attorneys, just to keep pushing forward. All my sister wanted was to serve in peace, and I feel like because of her, now we're giving that right to our current service members and for generations to come.
Do you have a message to any of the other families out there fighting for justice?
Keep going. Keep going. I know it's hard. I know a lot of people reach out for help. I wish I had the resources to help each and every single family, but unfortunately I don't. And I hope to get there one day with the foundation that we've now created, which is Zion Vanessa Guillen Foundation. It's going to take some time. I didn't think it was going to be as hard as it is, but I know that we can do it, and hopefully one day I'm able to provide what we've been able to do for other families.
I want to take some questions first, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the hearing today. So, any questions? No. Okay, so today's hearing, they also disclosed that the last 20 months that Cecily has been in prison, how she was known to be a bully, how she was attacking officers. She was tased twice. She's threatened other female inmates about them becoming the next Vanessa Guillen. So we're not talking about a person that has any remorse here. Anyone could say sorry. Words are easy to say. It's what you did, the crime that you committed, the harm that you've done to this community and this family and all these people. And then when she goes to prison, what is she doing? She's becoming even a bigger bully. So it's a lot of, actions speak louder than words. And we had today learned a lot. They told us about she skinned Vanessa. No one knew about that. There was talking about, what was it? The necro, when you...
Oh, necrophilia?
Yeah. So we also learned today that Aaron Robinson engaged in necrophilia, and he looked it up afterwards into the computer. The FBI, I understand, was able to look at his computer and search his words that he searched. This was a heinous crime. It was, when they were asking for minimal sentencing, the judge, who did a great job, said, what would a maximum require? I mean, you have skinning, you have decapitation, you have cutting up parts, burning parts, hiding parts, crumbling parts, throwing parts away. It was so grotesque. Myra and I got sick many times of it, cried many times at this hearing. I did not know about how savage she was and the crime, the heinous crime that they committed. It was horrible, and and a lot of people had to leave the courtroom because of that. And it's unfortunate that she continues to live, and Vanessa is the one who died here. So, when talking about maximum sentencing, you're talking about 30 years. She's going to be still a young woman when she comes out, and I hope that she learned her lesson here. But those kind of diabolical people, they're scary, and I don't trust them near anyone, especially anyone I love. Any other questions about today's hearing? Yeah, I think the judge was so fair, so his head was on real good. He listened to everything. He did mention that he didn't believe anything she said. Her story changed so many times, and to law enforcement every time she was interviewed, and this is on camera. So there was. One could say, and she said that she was neglected as a kid and all this stuff, but people who are neglected as kids don't have a right to go and kill other people or chop people up or murder people. He mentioned, there's good people that come out of neglect when they're as children. So this judge today, he gave justice to Vanessa. He gave justice for this case, and if we could have asked for more, we would have. But that was the maximum sentencing guideline there that he followed.
What is the status of the wrongful death lawsuit
So the wrongful death lawsuit will be moving forward. We're going to go to federal court because the Army, I don't know if everyone knew this, but the Army denied it. The Army actually had the gall to say the statute of limitations had passed when the sexual harassment misconduct had occurred. Well, if you all recall, when Vanessa died, after she went missing and died, the Army at Fort Hood, remember they said, oh no, we did interviews and she was never sexually harassed. No, nothing was ever found that she was sexually harassed. And then we said, what are you talking about? You're investigating yourself, thanks, but no thanks. We want a congressional investigation, which we got. And then we learned that she was sexually harassed, and then they came forward and they did the whole report saying she was sexually harassed, yes, that happened. But for me pushing and pushing and pushing and saying I'm not going to take your results as truth and fact, we would have never known. So what they did was they used the timeline of when it happened versus the cover-up. And remember, fraud, there's no statute of limitations when someone engages in fraud. That statute of limitations is thrown out because no one would ever know when something's concealed. It's always when you learned of it. So we are moving forward and we are filing it in federal court. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for your support.